that had to have been, in my honest opinion, one of the top 5 best races of the Cup Series 2023 season. Without a doubt, that was like the second to third best race. I'm not kidding. Way, way, way better than the Xfinity race. No one was crashing like a lunatic. They all raced each other cleanly, and that's what I love to see. And everyone, it was just overall a great race. And I just gotta say, congratulations, Ross Chastain, for winning the race. Had a beautiful burnout, a badass one, in fact. One hell of a burnout. Burned basically the tires out in a beautiful paint scheme with light blue, with dark blue texture to it. It looks really cool on a Camaro too. It's just a beautiful paint scheme. Ross gets to celebrate in victory lane with a Les Paul guitar. That thing looks awesome. And he gets Trackhouse Racing's third career win, or no, their fourth career win. The first since Sonoma 2022 with Daniel Suarez. And I've made some notes too, as well, on the race as the race went on. So we're going to go over the notes. And what a way to kick off NBC's side of the season, the second half of their coverage. That was pure professionalism. I got nothing negative to say about this race. It was just overall a 10 out of 10 race. And before we get to the notes, I'm just going to say the obvious. When Daniel Suarez on pit road was trying to come out and celebrate with Ross Chastain, he kind of cut in front of Chase Briscoe and both of them made contact, and Suarez spun out and got some like scrapes and damage on the passenger side door. But I can understand. He was happy. He didn't even know Chase Briscoe was there. That could have been bad, but thankfully it wasn't at full speed, and they were coming on pit road. He wanted to celebrate with his teammate, which he did in victory lane. And I also forgot to mention, Ross Chastain went on top of the roof and threw the watermelon on the track, which he's known for that really well. A watermelon farmer from Florida. You love to see it. So let's go over to the results. So early on in the race, during stage one, like very early on in the race, Kyle Busch had a flat tire, which he had to make a pit stop and come down pit road, and he was at one point last in the race, one lap down compared to everyone else, but the man came back and got a top 10 at the end of the day, and that was really impressive for Kyle Busch to be able to do that, come back from that. And then you had Ryan Blaney brushing the wall that same stage, trying to get past Bubba Wallace, and somehow it worked. He got by Darrell Wallace Jr., and despite brushing the wall, and that was a cool moment. During green flag pit stops, Ty Dillon actually led a couple laps in the Spire Motorsports 77 car. So, and the TV actually got to him and recorded him actually completing a lap in first place. So that was cool seeing Ty Dillon lead a lap. When was the last time he led a lap in the Cup Series? It has to be a good few years if he even led a lap before. But that was cool to see. Tyler Reddick passed Ross Chastain for the lead early on in the race, as well as stage one, after Ross dominated the first half and Reddick went on to win stage one, Tyler Reddick. And then on caution pit stops to determine who's going to come out first on pit road for stage two, William Byron won the race off pit road to sustain the lead against for beginning of the stage two against Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick. At same stage, Ross Chastain and William Byron made some contact with one another. There was a free wide battle for the lead between Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, and Ross Chastain. Martin Truex Jr. then took the lead, then takes the lead from both Byron and Chastain. Alex Bowman and AJ Allmendinger make contact door to door, and I think AJ kind of just showed his displeasure. It was either him or Bowman who stuck their hand out the window or something. That's what the commentator said. Tyler Reddick, then the first incident happened during the race. Tyler Reddick spun coming down to pit road, and he lost the tire, which pretty much ended his race and a chance at winning the race, of course, getting his 5th career win. It's unfortunate. He won the stage, but he finished a couple laps down, at least one back in 30th place, so he was never in contention again with a loose wheel, of course. Brad Keselowski on the restart fell back off the restart. I think he got a bump from Byron and he lost momentum. And then as on the restart, and as Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, and Brian Blaney were trying to check up, Alex Bowman kind of accidentally then got into Kyle Busch, which sent Kyle into Blaney, and Busch was spinning for the grass, and Blaney hit the wall at a bad angle. It hit the wall almost head on at a concrete wall. Very lucky Blaney wasn't injured and that sort of thing. So that was cool to see him get out of the car all right. He did say that he was a little shaken up from that hit. I mean, who wouldn't be from a hit like that? It even showed, the in-car camera of that, and I'm just going to say it, I'm just glad Blaney was alright. That was not a pretty crash. That looks really bad, and really glad to see him get out the car. Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. were battling for the lead side by side as Hamlin took the lead. Ross Chastain, beside Christopher Bell, nearly puts him in the wall. Then, of course, as when Truex tried to make a move on Denny Hamlin was able to hold off Truex to win stage 2. Then on the pit stops, Denny Hamlin won the race off pit road for the final stage to start in front. And then before the green flag pit stops again for the final time, Hamlin was up front as Chastain was trying to get by from Truex. He kind of bumped him out of the way and nearly spun him out, so glad he didn't do that. And then eventually Ross Chastain took the lead away from Denny Hamlin. Kevin Harvick, after a strong run during the race, was running fourth, had a right rear tire go down. Thankfully there's no caution, so good consistency there from NASCAR. He was able to keep it going straight. Daniel Suarez almost hits Kyle Busch, as I believe Kyle Busch or Daniel Suarez was coming down into pit road. Ross Chastain, as he was trying to hold off Martin Truex Jr., goes free wide in between lapped cars of Eric Almirola and J.J. Yaley. In the final stage, of course, then Corey LaJoie makes contact with Joey Logano's bumper after trying to get by the lapped car, Todd Gilliland. And then Ross Chastain, of course, wins at Nashville, gets his third career Cup Series win. The first of 2023. Your most consistent driver finally got a win after winning all these stages. So great win for Chastain. That was a good race, man. Like I said at the beginning of the review, that one was obviously the best race of the season, at least. It was up there with the Daytona 500, Auto Club, and a couple other tracks I can't think of right now. But let's go over your top finishers of the race. Eric Jones finished 8th in the Legacy Motor Club Chevrolet, which that team has been struggling so hard this season. So good to see Eric Jones get possibly the team their final ever top 10s with a Chevy, Richard Petty's former team. A.J. Allmendinger finished 10th. I thought he would finish 18th because you know how inconsistent he's been this season, but good to see him actually get a top 10 in a non-road course or non-super speedway. So finally he actually was able to put some momentum in this race, but he still needs to do a lot of work, of course. The Front Row Motorsports cars did pretty terrible today. McDowell was 25th all race and stuff. It was pretty bad, to say the least. And Todd Gilliland was unfortunately a no-show the whole race, was lapped down quite a few times. And Stenhouse was even a no-show, unfortunately. He was in the top 20 at one point, but then he fell back to 24th to 26th and got lapped down by Chastain late in the race. And I really hope that does not ruin his season. I hope that's not what is the left of his season. I really hope he can get back to getting some top 15, some top 10s, and occasional top 5s with some top 10s alongside it. So, the Daytona 500 champion, that looks concerning, but I hope and pray to God that he can bounce back the next weekend and continue and get back on track. I hope it was just his car not performing well, but it was cool seeing the in-car camera from Stenhouse from the front view and the tail view, the back view of the car. So that was cool to see. Some other top finishers of the race, to say the least. As I'm gonna pull it up, Eric Jones and Allmendinger got top tens. Ryan Preece got 16th today. That was pretty good for Ryan Preece, who's been mediocre all season. Austin Dillon even got 13th place, so great runs for both those teams. Corey LaJoie back at it with another top 20, and I'd say his best season to date so far. So good to see that run for Spire Motorsports, their 77 car leading a lap, and of course, LaJoie getting a top 20 finish. I stand corrected. Stenhouse came back and finished 22nd, but still, that was pretty horrible that he was in there to begin with. They're back there. Justin Haley, who started fourth, faded back to 23rd. I don't know what happened there. Kevin Harvick, like I said, ran inside the top 5, but went back and finished in 24th. JJ Yeley got a top 30 place finish in the Rick Ware Racing car. Not as good as the Charlotte run, but still a top 30 for Rick Ware Racing, so that was cool to see from them. And JJ. Anytime, a small team like Rick Ware Racing or Live Fast gets a top 30, their sponsor objectives are going to be happy. You're going to give them some money, so you'd love to see that. And, of course, Spire, the 77 car, too. Ty Dillon before this weekend had 2 top 25 straight finishes. And then, yeah, that's basically your top finishers of the race. Of course, you're still going for tech. This is just before going for tech. That's just I found out about the finishing positions, courtesy of Bob Pockris on Twitter, but on YouTube from Skew Car. But still, congratulations Ross Chastain on the win. Beautiful car, and the number 1 car won for the 25th time in the Cup Series. That's hard to believe, man. 25 wins? If I had more than that, but that's just a car you don't see win that often, unfortunately. But ever since 2000, I believe, or the early 90s, I'd say the 2000s I'm more familiar with. Ever since Steve Park's 2000 Watkins Glen win over Mark Martin, that number has won 24 more times since then. So you love to see it. Great job once again for Ross Chastain. Dominant performance. Love to see Pitbull get back in the victory lane, and Justin Marks. You love to see it. Great team, great drivers, and a great win for Trackhouse Racing. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching this review. Nothing negative to say about this race, but I do got one thing though, and that's a little bit of the booth. I wish Wally Dallenbach was in the booth and replaced Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. No offense to both of them, but I wish they'd be down there with Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett, and also have Brad Doherty in the booth with Wally Dallenbach, with Dale Jr. and of course Rick Allen. So that's my only critique of the broadcast. But other than that, if the broadcast was like that, that'd be, oh yeah, that would have been awesome. But either way, great race to begin with. I'm glad that this race wasn't a bust like yesterday, where everyone was just wrecking constantly. This race was a breather, and it was awesome to see. Good job, Chastain. Let's move on to Chicago. Oh God, Chicago street courses next weekend. Oh boy. Yeah, you might see a different attitude next weekend or different tone of voice. But for now, great race. Best race of the season? Question mark? For sure, second or third best of the season without a doubt. So yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. I'm gonna head out now and enjoy the rest of the post-race show, and of course watch some YouTube after, and I'm also going to do a live stream too. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but hope you guys tune into it. So yeah, thanks for watching, even though it's just a black screen, but there's nothing really, I don't feel comfortable sharing my face or showing my face, but I don't even have a good setup too. So yeah, just I hope you understand about that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.